Vukovic off to join the Glory next season. So we're ready for the kickoff here. It's the Phoenix who get us underway. They're in white, the Sky Blues in sky blue. Just 1 point will be enough for Wellington to guarantee their place in the top 6. Even then, they might not require that point, depending on other results. Paul Trimboli alongside me, and Trimmers, we do talk a lot and focus a lot about the so-called big clubs in the league, the likes of Sydney FC and their woes, but let's pay tribute to Wellington Phoenix and what they've done for the 2nd season in a row.
Yeah, good evening, Mike. Yeah, marvellous effort from the New Zealand side to make their back-to-back finals campaigns. Well, we're getting ahead of ourselves. They still need a point, as you said, and I think that'll be the message. I think Ricky Herbert will have made his players very aware that they still need some points.
And the early shot in, Tess ready. Came from Troy Herefield.
But it has been another successful year. They still have their issues on the road. We saw last week only the 2nd away win of the season. But it came at a timely moment. And Ricky Herbert will be impressing on his players. Let's not waste that. Let's back it up tonight with a good performance. Plus, people want to be in that starting lineup come the finals.
Well, there's certainly plenty of competition for places at the Phoenix these days. Vukovic out to claim that long ball from German. And when you look at the players missing tonight for Ricky Herbert, the likes of Manny Muscat, Leo Burdos, Paul Eiffel, Ben Sigmund, and of course the skipper Andrew Durante. They've got the sort of depth which perhaps can sustain a reasonable challenge in that top 6.
Well, the key really is him finding the balance, finding the lineup that's going to get the job done. He's, as you said, got some options at his disposal. The other issue they're going to have is the fact that finishing so low down in the 6, it'll be week by week and on the road if they get there.
Here's Daniel. Turned over by McAllister. Nicky Carl overhitting the pass. Well, despite the disappointments of the season, and you can really point to that horror start of the season for Sydney FC, 10 games, the first 10 games of the season without a win. It's been a different story in 2011. 6 games now unbeaten for Sydney.
Well, arguably, they've been the form side of the competition since the new year. So good to see Nicky Carl back and close to full fitness, and the influence that he exerts on this side has been immeasurable.
Hiro Moriyasu. Here's Matt German. He's been the player in focus on the last 24 hours. Took so long for German to get his chance in the first team. When it came, he grabbed it with both hands, but there you go. News today. He's signed a deal to join Brisbane Roar. He'll replace Luke De Vere in the heart of that Roar defence. He will be playing Champions League football with Brisbane next season. Perhaps with Sydney FC this season as well, but I guess Trimmers maybe the one that got away for the Sky Blues.
I think it is, and it'll be interesting to see the reaction of the fans. They've really taken to Matt German since his input into the team, and Miroslav Levicka will have to answer some questions, you'd imagine. It seemed to take forever for him to actually think of him as an option, but he's been impressive, and Brisbane Roar have spotted that as well.
Well, look at the space here for Moriyasu. Goes for the long-range effort and testing Danny Vukovic, who in the end did well to keep it under control because McKellar was lurking.
Yeah, good goalkeeping from Danny Vukovic. It was the soft hands that did the trick. Moriyasu from long range, it was swinging. We see that so often, these modern footballs, the way players strike it. Movement in the air sideways. Vukovic just soft hands.
McFlynn, clever ball in behind. McKellar's got plenty of pace, but Lockheed's quick enough. Interesting to see how Juho McKellar goes tonight. There's a nudge from Kazarine. No flag, he's onside and in the clear. Should have done better, Sydney's top goal scorer. Danny Vukovic has been very busy for Wellington in the early stages.
Well, it was a bizarre sequence of events. I think it was Jade North who seemed to be appealing for an eternity for a free kick that was never coming. And in the end, his goalkeeper bailed him out pretty much by not committing, standing tall. Kazarine should have done better.
Well, Wellington, perhaps subconsciously at least, believing the job has already been done, and it would certainly take an amazing sequence of results to deny them a place in the finals. But have they switched off? The evidence in the early stages suggests they might have. But for Danny Vukovic, they might be chasing the game already. As it is, he's kept them well and truly in it.
It was amazing, wasn't it? It was more the reaction, I think, of Jade North, who's still complaining to the assistant referee. Felt that Kazarine had pushed him, I think, out of the way. But he just didn't respond, did he? He just stood there.
Incidentally, the referee is Peter Green, not Ryan Shepherd, as we said earlier. Here's Tim Brown. He'll be keen to stay out of trouble with the referee tonight. 1 card for Brown, and he'll be facing a 2-game suspension, which would keep him out of the finals game. Had their problems with suspension, Wellington, particularly in defence. Reddy comes out and claims over the top of Cole. Yes, the Phoenix without Durante, Muscat, and of course the other player missing tonight, suspension, Benny Sigmund. That's right. There's 3 players who are sidelined with suspension at a critical time of the season. Ricky Herbert will be wanting all his troops available for the final game against the Fury this weekend, and then the finals, I should say, the week after is Herefield.
So Mike is going to have some decisions to make too. I think one of the issues he's had this year is just trying to fit those players, the best fit for that back 4, especially Sigmund, North, Durante. I think they all prefer to play centrally if they've got the option.
McAllister asked to chase there by Herefield. That's good defending. He's working hard, Dylan McAllister, having been given his opportunity for an extended run in the side.
He's really responded to Dylan McAllister. So often Paul Eiffel was the man up front that would create, would score the vital goals. They needed someone to fill that void. Dylan McAllister really growing in confidence after every start. He's really become central to this late run in the season for the Phoenix.
Born and raised in Sydney, of course, Dylan McAllister from the Northern Beaches. Lockhead. Forward run there. Greenacre. Shannon Cole back to his keeper, Liam Reddy. Here's Ward. Daniel doesn't have a lot of support. Bad ball in from Daniel. Rojas. We've got territory at the moment, Wellington. Deep ball. It's asking just a bit too much of Daniel. Well, Jade North, as you mentioned, Trimmers, had plenty to say about the decision which he felt went against him. Here's Kazarine with a nudge. Was it or not? He was certainly onside.
He certainly was, and I'm not sure whether Jade North felt it was a clear offside, not knowing that his central defensive partner was taking his time to get back to the line and nudging the back. And that, there's no harm in getting beaten in that situation, but the fact that he just stood and didn't try to recover the situation would be worrying for Ricky Herbert.
Well, here's McKellar. He's clean through McKellar, and another save from Vukovic. He's keeping Wellington in this. Sydney should have taken the lead by now.
They've had a couple of good looks at the target, Sydney FC, and the centre of that Wellington defence. We know it's makeshift. We saw young James Musa have his issues earlier in the season against the Melbourne Victory. And at the moment, he and Jade North are definitely all at sea.
Lockhead. Phoenix have been living dangerously, no doubt about it.
And again, it was nothing special. It was just a physical presence of Kazarine, route one, if you like. McKellar, who read it best, had that yard of space. Musa was trying desperately to recover the situation, but Danny Vukovic standing tall in the early going. But Sydney perhaps be disappointed with some of the finishing.
Three shots, one goal already from Sydney FC. We're only 12 minutes into the match, and three important stops from Danny Vukovic has denied the Sky Blues an early lead.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? Sometimes stats can be deceptive. You talk about 3 saves made, but they've all had to have been made from Danny Vukovic. There was nothing easy about any of them.
Well, Juho Mäkelä will be keen to impress here tonight, because as far as we know, there's no certainty whether he's a nominated player for the ACL. Now, Sydney are allowed 3 foreigners plus an Asian player. That Asian player will be Moriyasu. 2 of those foreign players will be Bruno Kazarine and Terry McFlynn, who's still classed as a foreigner under AFC regulations. Who will be the 3rd foreigner? Will it be Stefan Keller, or will it be Juho Mäkelä? Given that Sydney have lost German for next season, perhaps, that they didn't sign Top or Stanley for the ACL, I wonder if that tilts the pendulum in favour of Keller rather than Mäkelä.
Well, it's questions that need to be answered in a hurry.
Here's Rojas. His cross takes a deflection.
I suppose the other question too is what sort of fitness is Mark Bridge